Greetings in love, light, and wisdom to you. So as you can see, Carl Jung did not mean the side of ourselves that may be different or unique and how society pushes it down, or our family may look down upon that. It's not that at all. Carl Jung was actually meaning the side of the human that is capable of doing great evil. He came conscious of his own shadow self when he had a dream about his partner that he was working with, who was Sigmund Freud. And the dream was that he turned into a savage beast. He called himself a savage native beast. This was a different time back then. And he saw that he killed his partner in his dream, or attacked him at least. And that awoken Jung up to his shadow side. That was the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the part of him that he would never show in society, but was laying somewhere deep down inside in the subconscious. And it also mirrored his reflections of his anger, because eventually we do know that Carl did actually separate from Freud because of some disagreements with his philosophy and psychology methods. So that is the shadow self, and I am so sorry that people are changing it around to mean something else. To me, it seems that people are trying to get the shadow to play a little bit more out in the world, and that is not a good thing. It's actually a very good thing that the shadow is something that is contained and controlled. It is very important to be conscious and aware of that dark side of yourself. So you should have some type of attunement with the idea that you can do these types of things to others, so that you do not sit there in denial and just say, well, I'm a saint, and on this earth I'm like Jesus Christ and I could never do any harm. You have to come to an understanding that everybody has that shadow side to them. But the point is to be able to control it and to deny the impulses that come from there. And as I showed you in the quote, the idea of amputating through a careful, reflective process and overcoming the shadow self is really the goal in order to reach the light side. So Carl Jung was very interested in the idea that religion a lot of times focuses on figures of light to become ascended and to become like the angels by just simply focusing on the divinity of Jesus and angels. And he was trying to say that that's not how someone becomes like Christ, becomes like an angel. If you are just focusing your intentions towards it and you're not doing the work of the reflective process of uncovering those darker nature and that part of yourself and working through that to eliminate it, because as soon as you become aware of those parts of yourself, that is the process of actually eliminating and defeating it. You cannot fight a dragon that you cannot see. If the dragon is invisible to you, you're not going to be able to actually defeat it. But if the dragon is visible, you'll be able to see the weakness and you'll be able to find ways and solutions to defeat the dragon once and for all. That is how Jung saw the dark side of the person, is that we all have that tendency inside of us, and we all need to take a look at it and reflect upon it. And that is the way how you transform the darkness into light. It is not about allowing the dark side to actually come to the surface and, do its deeds in the world. We're actually never really supposed to work or operate from the shadow. There is a lot of ideas that the shadow can create art, and it's your creative side and things like that. But as the person who actually coined the term, unless they're talking about something completely different, they cannot actually use that word, the shadow, because that's not how Carl Jung saw it. He saw the shadow as actually something that was all about destruction, not creation at all. And so it is the complete opposite. It is the duality in the universe. He actually called it the saurian, which is related to a dinosaur, the reptilian mind, the lizards, the reptilian aliens that are in this world or that are in the collective consciousness. So these are all things that we must always work to defeat, not be in denial of, but actually to be conscious and aware and defeat it once and for all. This is very important to all of our ascension and our growth. And that is really what Carl was trying to say. It is completely opposite of what other people are teaching in today's world. I suggest that people go deeper into the psychology of Carl Jung to actually see what he was actually talking about as the shadow side. And even though he could see that, parading it around in the world, you would be like monkeys, not at all evolved, he still was not in denial of that part of himself. He was humble enough and he was in touch with himself enough to say, hey, I had a dream about killing my partner because I have, I guess, these subconscious desires to do away with him because of all the disagreements. But he never acted upon it. And that is really the goal, is to be able to be aware of those dark desires within you, notice when they come up, and be in complete control. You have to be in control of the dragon inside of you. You have to be able to tame the beast, as it is said. And so this whole series is going to be how I can get you in touch with the shadow part of yourself, and not to play with it, not to sit with it, not to create from it, not to do any of that, but simply to remove it, to amputate it, and to consciously be aware and to defeat it once and for all with wisdom and with love. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you all on the next video with the next video of the series.